Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, well, I've worked for 40 years in tech, and the last 10 years exclusively in AI. But I wouldn't call myself a tech utopian. I really hate crypto. Absolutely hate it. I hardly use my smartphone. Nevertheless, in my 40 years, I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this because most of the most valuable companies on the planet right now are AI companies. And if you think this is going away, think again. And we've been through this before. So we had, in the US, about 1800, you had 75% of people worked in agriculture. It's down to 1.2% by 2000, but we have a 500% increase in productivity. Massive shift over 2 centuries, though. This one's going to happen much, much quicker. The same is true in manufacturing, by the way. As manufacturing output goes up, by and large, times 5, you get a fall in the need for labor. It's massively efficient through automation. And the same will happen to white-collar workers, and I know that because it's happening. So I want to be quite evidence-based on my little talk here. The first thing is the research base. So you have to look at the papers, and even as early as 2023, after GenAI hit the streets, you have the Noy paper from MIT. If I split this room into 2 groups, I give you GenAI and you not, and you have high-end data analyst skills, high-end cognitive skills, you will win. You'll do it 26% faster. In fact, the Noy paper was 0.8% standard deviation faster, which is amazing. You're much faster. Not only that, your quality will be much higher than these guys. That was 0.4 standard deviations, which is still really significant. Then along came the Mollick paper, sample 700 odd people, high-end consultants, medical people, and so on. Same thing, you split the room down the middle, you get a much faster completion rate over here. Not only that, the quality of output is higher. It's not doing it faster, it's doing it better. And then generally in knowledge workers, the Cambon paper after that shows a general minimum sort of 26.7-ish sort of increase in productivity. But the range here is often 20 to 70%. This is not 1 or 2, 3%, 20 to 70% because it happens in seconds. And you've all had that holy shit moment on when you're using AI and goes, that would have taken me 4 hours. And it just happened in seconds. Now just multiply that. So we have the academic, by the way, the steam engine only gave us, about the 1800s, only gave us about 22% increase in productivity. This is way beyond that. And of course, within a year or so, and it's individuals doing it. We didn't all buy a steam engine, during the Industrial Revolution. But what about the real world? Well, let me give you a really interesting example. One of the most, I think, the greatest single example of productivity in the history of our species took place through AI in this city in 2020. And Dennis Hassabis got a Nobel Prize for this. There are 200 million known proteins. He wrote an algorithm with a team which actually solved that problem, and it's in the free database. You can go and look at this. 200 million. It did take about 1 to 4 years to establish the 3D structure of a protein historically. Okay, so do the maths. That is centuries of saved research. Not only that, all those researchers can concentrate on curing cancer, and indeed they used those protein structures during the COVID period as well. So, do you need any more proof? Even just that one example. Centuries of research time saved in productivity. Let's go to the sector level because the future's here, but it's unevenly distributed. So it's big in tech, it's big in pharma, it's big on SMEs. Small companies use this stuff all the time because they don't want to hire people. They're short of money. And the law is another one, although demand is a situation you doesn't trust it in the law. But again, the research at the sector level, if you look at programmer productivity, which is my game really in the tech world, it is quite astounding what has happened here. The first paper was due in 2024 early here, as a general 4,900 coders, about a 26% increase in productivity. Then you have Amazon coming in, who saved 4,500 developer years in updating their code. If you run a big company, you've got lots of legacy code. Banks have really crap code. You're looking after your money. At some point, you have to upgrade that. It's incredibly expensive, and it takes years. We have in Amazon saving $260 million, and they do it in record time with hardly any code changes because a lot of it is automated. Okay? So even in the real world, we see example in the very famous paper on the law, where again we split two groups, lawyers plus ChatGPT. You guys absolutely hammer these guys over here in terms of the speed. The speed is remarkable. I don't know if you've ever used a lawyer. It costs you a lot of money and they're incredibly slow. Now imagine a legal decision that takes seconds, because the interesting thing about this academic paper in the conclusion is that it was 98.97% faster than a human lawyer. If that's not productivity, I really don't know what is. So I think even in these domain-specific areas, because AI has moved into much more sophisticated systems where the provenance of the data and the information comes back through to you through RAG techniques and all sorts of things that we needn't go into today. Pharma and healthcare is another amazing one. A paper just published, which I really love, by Go, which compared doctors plus normal resources, doctors plus ChatGPT, and a third group, just ChatGPT on clinical decision-making. Now, what shocked people here is everybody, all the academics put this in the foreword to the paper, they thought that the doctor plus ChatGPT would win. ChatGPT on its own trounced the other two. Now, this is interesting. A doctor has about a 5% misdiagnosis rate if you go to your GP. That sounds worse than you say 1 in 20. 1 in 20, okay? Now, if you get, and I think we're getting very close, to ChatGPT or another AI system giving you 1 to 2%, you'd be a fool to go to your doctor, especially if you're an older man where the common misdiagnosis is reflux versus heart problems, because you can die. So I think it's a qualitative shift in terms of productivity as well. And of course, we have things like radiology, pathology, which are already being sort of supercharged with this stuff. So really just to end on one big thing here, the thing that's amazed me about this technology is its ubiquity. Because actually a funny thing's happening. Everybody's using it on the sly. This is actually not like the steam engine. If you look at the big data sets now that are coming back, everybody's using it, no matter what their age, but not institutions. University faculty, your bosses are all holding the fort because their jobs are at risk here. Ask anybody who's 14 in a school. Ask the people at Harvard, where the recent survey was 95% of students using ChatGPT. But the institutions don't want to come near it. Okay, so this is anyone, anywhere, anytime, any subject, any level. If you don't think that's going to increase productivity, I don't know what other arguments you could possibly give to counter that.
Thank you. And if only you'd let ChatGPT deliver your talk, you could have been 20% more efficient and finished before you got the red card. Next time, eh?